All right, go ahead.
All right, by a show of hands.
Speak loud, out.
By a show of hands, who could break down Daniel, the second chapter, from the 31st verse on down? That goes into the statue of Nebuchadnezzar and all the particulars from that point until now. Who could break it down?
2 and 31.
2 and 31 down, yep.
Daniel, second chapter.
Yeah. You need a minute to look at it, or you ready?
You're supposed to just say, yeah, I know the breakdown.
All right, this brother.
I already know it. I'm going to look at it. That's the attitude you're supposed to have.
Right.
So
Brother
go ahead.
say
Who got it? Who got it?
This brother right there. Speak loud.
Speak loud. Everybody can hear you.
This is the book of Daniel.
Speak a little louder, brother.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 2, verse 31. Verse 31. Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This is Daniel talking to King Nebuchadnezzar about the dream that he had. Verse 32. The image head was of fine gold. The image head was of fine gold was talking about the Babylonian Empire, of which was ruling at that time, Nebuchadnezzar, of which was Assyrians under the Babylonian Empire.
Okay.
His breast and his arms of silver. That's the breast and his arm of silver represents the Medo-Persian Empire. This second kingdom that was going to take down the Babylonian kingdom. His belly and his thighs of brass, that represents the Greeks under Alexander the Great, who was going to take down the Medo-Persians. His legs of iron represents the Roman Empire, which came after the Greeks. His feet of iron and part clay represents NATO and the EU, which is the reincarnation of the Roman Empire, which is what we have today. The beast. Verse 34.
Oh, you said the beast, right? Having what, 7 heads and 10 horns? What are the 7 heads?
Seven heads are the Greeks, the Romans, the Spanish, the French, the British, West Germany, East Germany.
That's it. You got it. You got it. I had to come with the spirit of Rahab. What do you think it means? What does it mean?
That's it.
Now, IUIC now, I done, the big tall brother, he broke it down, and I did a video on it. I kind of praised him, but I said you went off on the part with Russia. Because that's what they used to teach at One West. That Russia was one of them 7 heads. Russia was not one of them 7 heads. When you get an ancient map of the Roman Empire, Russia's not even in there, man. You know? So that's going back to that stuff that they learned from the 7. Giving props to the 7, they didn't know, but they didn't know 100% truth. The High Priest Ariah, as a video, High Priest Ariah did not have 100% truth. We at GMS do. They be talking so much shit about us. But anyway, go ahead, you got it.
God, book of Daniel, chapter 2, verse 34. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands. That's what represents Yahweh Shai. Which smote the image upon his feet.
Why did it say if you smoke the image on the feet?
Because that's the feet is the iron and the clay, which is the beast system, which is in power, which is going to be in power when Yahweh Shai returns.
Which is the last kingdom.
The last kingdom.
Well, it's the end of their kingdom.
Right.
It's the end of their kingdom. You know?
And the feet represent the end.
Feet that were iron and clay and break them to pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together and became like chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away. Got no place.
You know what shaft of the summer dressing floor is? It's like dust. You take a plummet, sweep it out. No power. There's no hope of them ever coming back in power. You know? Now what does that, read that part again that you just read.
Verse 35. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broke into pieces together, and became like the shaft of the summer threshing floors.
Now, what scriptures should immediately come to mind?
Jeremiah 51.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Psalms 2, he taking away the wicked like chaff.
That's a good one. I'm not thinking about that, but that's another good one.
Isaiah 14.
Nope, that's another good one.
When he said, he should be no more remembrance in Job, like his own dung.
That's Job 20. That's a good one. That's not the one I'm thinking about.
Second Nazareth, utterly being the potter.
Second Ezra.
Second Ezra 16.
That's another good one. I'm not thinking about that one. What is what? That's another good one.
He just said that.
Somebody just said that, but that's a good one too. That's not. I'll give you a hint. It's also in the book of Daniel. No. It's another chapter in the book of Daniel.
4 and 17. 4 and 17.
Say again?
4 and 17.
Of what?
Daniel.
4 and 17. What does that say?
That's the
matter.
Most High rulers in the kingdom.
Oh, yeah, well, that's another good one. That's another good one.
I think it's in Daniel 7 when it says they was taken out of.
That's it. Read it. That's what I was thinking of. But all of y'all were right. Because read what you just read out in Daniel 2 and then go right to Daniel 7 and 9.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 2, verse 35. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broke into pieces together and became like
Stop right there. The iron is what? The Romans, right? The current Romans, or the beast, the ancient Romans, the pagan Romans, 2,000 years ago. The Greeks, all right? The Medo-Persians, and the head of gold is Babylon, the ancient Babylon, right? So what does that mean? That they're still here. They're still in power. Okay? So go ahead, go to where you said.
Daniel 7 and 9.
Yeah.
Daniel 7 and 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool.
That represents the Most High. Go ahead.
His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. 10. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were opened. I beheld them because of the voice of the great word which the horn spake. I beheld even to the beast was slain, and his body destroyed, and given to the burning flame.
That's the nuclear missile destroying America.
As concerning the rest of the beasts, they had the dominion taken away, with the allowed to prolong for a season of time.
Why are they going to be prolonged for a season of time? Because they can go into slavery. You know? So Esau knows all this, man. You know?
I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory and the kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed.
That's the kingdom. And Esau knows this, man. Esau knows that he's going into slavery. Esau knows who those other, the other parts of the kingdom, before that, the Greeks, you know, the Medo-Persians and so forth and so on, man. And they're still here. The Medo-Persians are still here. What are the Persians being called today? The people of Iran. Yep.
Today I got a video from Lisa Haven. I watch it from time to time. She put up news.
No, I seen it, yeah.
And, she said 16 nations formed an alliance together. Started with Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, and they went to the United Nations complaining about the sanctions that United States is putting on them, and they say they're going to do something about it, or they're going to do something about it. And the first one that came to my mind was Jeremiah 50 and 9, when the Most High going to allow, and they see the great nations come up against Babylon and destroy her utterly. So I was like, wow. So I'm gonna do a video on that tonight, Lord will.
And this thing, and these prophecies, the book in a whole keeps your faith up, but the prophecies really keep your faith up. The guys that get weak, They're not reading them prophecies, man. They don't see it. You see something on the news. Okay. You kept saying this earlier about May 1st and Biden. What did Biden say recently in that speech that he made?
May 1st, when everybody, individuals get it.
Right. So what came to your mind?
Mayday.
Mayday.
Yeah.
Now the average person out there, like Johanna, General Johanna, that went right over his head. You know?
Yep.
And we were getting on Johanna, boy. That's
hell.
yo, them guys gotta be fucking retards, man. Them guys are retards, man. If any of y'all, hey, you and the brother Yahweh, you and Shimon ran into one of them guys, right?
Yeah. We did that was years ago.
That was years ago.
He was coming from the gym and the dude was talking about the first thing he came up with was rape. And then we had this lady, she was like, I would like to get raped. Remember that right there? We was bugging like, yo, that shit was crazy. She was like, I like a man to take it. You know?
That's the number one.
Most women like men to come a certain way, man.
So,
It's the number one fantasy.
Hey, the women play hard to get until you get aggressive. You know?
They like that aggression.
And there's certain guys, I can't get it. I said, yeah, you can't get it because you're not taking it, man. They want her to be taken. She wants herself to be taken, man.
Yeah.
That's what they love. They fantasize about that.
We're the daughters of Shiloh. How they got Benjamin lied in wait for them. And we brought the scriptures out. He was like, yo, the first thing he did was bring up the rape doctrine. Like, as we cut him with that. Because first of all, that's in the scriptures. We brought the daughters of Shiloh and how they was dancing, you know.
But that was to no avail because you're dealing with retards, man.
Yeah.
Anybody that's a part of the ISUPK are retarded. You know? I'm dead serious. Tell me they ain't retarded. You know?
Gotta be.
Now, Tazariak, he ain't retarded, and Captain Katazak, well, why are they there? Because I believe they're insiders, man. You know? Go ahead.
Because you just read on Daniel 7:14 says the languages and nations will be Yahushua. This 1 Corinthians 15:27. It says, for he hath put all things under his feet. Most have put all things under Yahushua. But when he says all things are put under him, it is manifest that he is accepted, except the Most High not be under him, which did put all things under him. And when all things shall be subdued unto him, Yahushua, then shall the Son also be subject unto him that put all things under him. So all things put under Yahushua, and Yahushua is under the Most High, that the Most High may be all in all. So everything is under the Most High.
Where you reading from?
1 Corinthians 15. So
that was read earlier today.
Yeah.
Yep.
So all things under Yahushua, and when Yahushua under the Most High, everything is under the Heavenly Father. So all of the means will be under the Most High.
That's it. We're in that
Beautiful.
lineup, man.
Beautiful.
Yahweh Shai, then the elect of Israel, then the rest of Israel, you know? So is that it? Did he
He got a little bit more left from that.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 2, verse 35. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together and became like the shaft of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away. That when it's talking about the nuclear destruction.
That's it.
That no place was found for them because this land of America is not going to be inhabited no more by humans. No more position of power. Come. And the place was, and that no place was found for them, and the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. That's talking about Yahweh Shai and the elect of Israel, and that great mountain is talking about the kingdom of Israel, which is a government that's going to rule the entire earth. Verse 36, this is a dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king.
Now, when it says that the kingdom, the clay was partly strong and partly weak, what does that mean?
That's going into how the NATO system, some of the countries are doing better, like Germany, France, are like top economic countries.
Great Britain just left it. Officially the beginning of last year.
Brexit, right?
With Brexit, man. So that's that breaking down, man.
Yeah.
You know?
That's it?
And we're at that time right now. That's all that is being fulfilled as we speak right now. You know, so that's just letting you know that the prophecies are coming to pass. They're coming true. You know? That's pretty much it.
Yeah, and this thing, you know, it'll be beautiful if we can get out of here in this year.
Yes.
But maybe we might get out of here in 2022.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But we know we ain't going no 2045. There's too much. There's too much tension in the air, man. Too many things are going on too fast. You know? That was it. That's it.
That was it. Yep. That was it.
All right. So we're gonna look at the brothers out. All right.